Welcome back, everyone. Diana Jungle, the most broken jungler in the game right now. I'm going to show you exactly how to play and win on her. We're going to be playing in 300 LP Masters right now. I picked Diana Jungle early on, so the enemy team did pick some counter picks, but that is not to worry about because when you pick Diana Jungle, it's all about that clear speed, and that's exactly what we're going to be playing for. Build-wise, I like when I'm very AP heavy to go into the more Magic Pen build, which is going to be the build we're going to go into, which is the Proto Belt into the Shadow Flame build. And this game, I'm going to start red and or solo raptors, depending on what you want to do. And you want to just play for your farm, and you want to play for your your full clear and then your gank after full clear. So here your Q, you can see that the angle of it is really important. Make sure you don't accidentally miss it. So here we actually see them warding me, but it really doesn't matter all that much just because I actually have pretty good vision on the Elise, and Elise actually solo raptors as well. So the Solo Raptors, what it does is it just gives you a second Raptor camp and also a second Rek'sai camp around 4 minutes. And that's exactly kind of like what you're playing for with this. Just sort of clear in mind, that's exactly what you're kind of playing for. You want to play for that heavy farm. At least doing it, I mean, it's not as effective because our clear speed is just going to be much more impactful. But she can easily do a level 3 play as well. So because she's doing Raptors, Krug's red, she could easily just walk and go into my bot side right after. So what's important in this situation is knowing if you have, good priority. So in this situation, we're just going to smite the red here. And we're going to go to the wolf camp. And the wolf camp is perfectly okay for us to do. The blue is where you're going to be maybe at a risky situation where, possibly the Elise can be there. So if you want to play really safe around it, you don't want to, play around, Elise being there, you can just kind of check with your abilities here. But it looks like she's already on the bot side for the level 3 gang. And for us, it's just okay to play. Okay, now we're definitely going to go for this. It's okay for us to just play, for the clear as well. But once you see that enemy Elise kind of commit for a further kill, which is really good for us because we get a kill out of full clear. And we can just go back to farming, which is really nice for us. And whether our bot lane, can live, that's not really a concern. Because we're just trying to get our clear, right? When we play Diana Jungle, we're playing very selfish in a way. Because our champion is really, a very heavy carry champion who needs a lot of gold. Like, you need a lot of farm. Not sure what she's doing, but she's not killing me, which is funny. Unless I get hooked back in. Damn, I shouldn't have went back in there. That was my mistake. I thought it was going to juke it, but honestly, that was my bad. I should have just been careful. So here you want to actually go into this component, and you want to get into your Proto Belt. So what I'm going to do is go into the Proto Belt. So we're going to go into the Hextech. Honestly, I thought I could just juke it, but I made a blunder in that situation. Elise being here is really good for us. We can actually kill here. And she already used pretty much all her juice, so we can just kind of hit this to keep the chase up. She's going to stun us in a second, but we're going to have our abilities up pretty much. And we're going to keep chasing here. I don't know why he's chasing me, but go back to your lane, buddy. And here we're just going to go back and farm. I could kill her, but I can't kill her if this Mordekaiser is just being her little guardian angel. So here we're just going back to farming. Obviously, the early game has been pretty good for us. It's been pretty generous. So in this situation, you just want to kind of understand that you don't actually have to fight all that much. You just want to spend your gold when you have a relatively good window to buy. And if there's a gang topside, maybe you can go for one here. Here, I don't like going unless it's like a really low HP target. And also, if the enemy uses flash, right? And that's like a big thing for me. Also, I really like Dark Seal. So I always like to go for Dark Seals pretty early on. If I have that extra change, I'm not going to have like a full component there. I go for the Dark Seal buy. So this game, you can see right away, it's a really spicy game. It isn't necessarily bad for Diana. It's only bad if you're losing your jungle camps, right? So if I'm playing this spicy game, but the enemy team is really stealing my jungle camps, and that's really bad for us. But here you can see the Elise already kind of messed up. Akshan has a couple kills. And that's where you're going to be really good for yourself, right? So what would have been bad in this game was if I let Elise kill me at blue. Like maybe there's a chance there's like no gank bod. So what does Elise do in that situation? She'll probably invade my bot side because she has, you know, relatively aggressive bot lane. And if I was to die on my blue buff and they just come steal my 2 camps, that's really bad for your game. That's sort of the stuff you want to avoid, especially as Diana. And that's the stuff you just want to make sure you don't play around. So here I just need this bowling ball to hit. But this guy missed it. But because we're pretty much all grouped up anyways, and I have a pink ward, plus I have 2 smite charges, I'm just going to play for the dragon here. And this could potentially give you level 6. You can just wait on your smite too, but it looks like nothing's really happening. And the 6 is really good here. And this game too, what's special about this game is our mid matchup is Irelia versus Akshan. So we do have the Akshan. And what's important about that is actually just the fact that Akshan is going to be in situations that, you know... Hold on a second. I got to take this boy out. Ooh, the curve, right? The lunar arcanic ability. And what's really nice about that is having that kill on that reset timer. Akshan will push her. Whether it's impactful is what really determines that. Damn, I needed the Milo to be on my side. I also needed Akshan to come with me here there. If he has a bowling ball, it's huge, but I don't think he does. And in that situation, we just had to be a bit cautious about, you know, potential Irelia here. I mean, I think this verse just kills if he goes on her. Auto E, auto WQ. Boom. The arrow right through her heart. They call him Heartbreaker. Bum, bum, bum. Yeah, this game is really spicy. I do get games like this a lot if the enemy, you know, team has like, for example, you can kind of predict that it's going to be a really, you know, spicy game because the enemy mid laner is an Irelia. They have an Elise jungle. So you kind of know already that it's going to be a really heavy game of fighting, right? So in situations like this, you do have to be careful as the farming jungler. You are not the one who's like looking to fight, right? You are the one who's looking to interrupt the enemy team, you know, from potentially fighting and looking for windows where they kind of like overextend and make mistakes, right? That's what your role is in these situations. And for me, it's to check here. If they look, you know, vulnerable, we can definitely look for a window here. So here, there is a chance they're on it. So what we want to do is check there. The problem with them being on that is we don't have our champion, which is... I don't think he takes it, but... I would love him to flash here. And here we're just autoing as much as possible. And that's pretty much the best we can do in that situation. You just want to auto spam as much as possible. Your passive attack speed is just really big. Oh, that's huge. R flash by Varus. You love to see it. You absolutely love to see it. I think the Jhin did kill me, so I may be back. I may be back. It looks like we are back in it. They have... WWE, we've been res back into the chamber, and it's really OP when you have Akshan, because when you're dead and you can just come right back into duty, you just are able to kind of make up the sort of time you miss farming, and you just have that window to go back and just speed up your clear. And that's like a huge priority, because those windows, like I'm gonna be honest, in this meta, I think dying is one of the worst things you can do as a jungler. And obviously there are situations where dying is going to be much better than, you know, other situations like where we're getting like 2 kills. Some situations we're going to be, you know, having to die just to get like a good window and stuff like that. But realistically, dying is always going to be bad because you're missing so many windows to farm, right? So here, I don't know if he's going for the plant or something, but I'm looking for a play on either Blitz or I'm looking on Irelia mid. And it looks like Irelia has base. So here we're going to go on the blitz first. You can see I was always sort of very calm in that situation. I use my Protobelt. Just the big thing about Protobelt, if you want to get better at using the Protobelt and Diana, it's about getting into range so you can use your Q without having to E, or just getting into range so you can actually E targets who are primary targets, right? These are your core sort of functions when you're using, you know, those abilities on Diana. Here, Sane might be a bit greedy, so I'm just gonna base. I'm gonna go into like my Shadow Flame next. And Shadow Flame, if you can get the Rod by, it's really good for your base, but sometimes you're not going to get it, so you want to go into this. Your core build is just going to be Shadow Flame and Zhonya's, and you can go into like, you know, whatever items, Void, Death Cap. This is not really tank Diana, this is just AP Diana. It's always going to be good if you have not that much, you know, AP on your team. And I do like this build, especially if you want to do as much damage as possible. This exactly is going to be, you know, it's just going to give you the most damage you can possibly have. Here you can start to see exactly Diana passive starting to work wonders, right? Like you can see my passive is starting to really bring value, and that's the big thing. Here I think Mordekaiser might go for plates, so what we're gonna do is actually just kill him right after. I do think he probably used like his ulti, so what we want to do is just one shot the wave with the Q, him, ulti him back in. And what this does, it kind of like allows your tower to get more hits on him, and it also forces him to only be able to run, right? Probably gonna base here just because I'm so far away from Dragon, and Dragon is the next objective, so we want to get there, and running all the way across is not worth my time. Here I'm gonna do this. I'll probably buy 1 pink for Dragon, and I'm gonna head my way there. And yeah, that situation is good. You want to hit the Q first because the Q will reset your E onto him, ulti, and that pulls in the minions too. So what I'm doing in that situation is killing the minions, and that's super good because that forces Mordekaiser to either, you know, he can't deal any damage to me, and I can just one-shot him. So this fight's looking okay if we can get in there fast. Oh my god, we actually got the dragon too, huge. Oh my god, Varys didn't die as well. Double, triple, quadruple, huge. You do love to see that. And here I'm god tier, right? Like, so if I get the Shadow Flame, I'm gonna do so much damage. But even right now, this is where you sort of take control of the game as Dyna. And what I mean by take control is no one can stop your farming anymore, which is the most important thing. I'm so strong that no one can prevent me from just power farming and then being so fast with my power farm and then just ganking, right? So if you get to this point, the game has gone well. You don't even need like 11 kills like me, but if you kind of slow down the enemy team and their pressure, all you have to do in these situations is just heavy power farm and then just wait for your camps. Kill your camps and then just go make plays around with your ultimate. Nothing too crazy because, like we said, enemy team is, look at them. They're like, they're going to slowly lose out on, you know, farm, levels, all that kind of stuff. And they're the ones that are going to need to be the ones to make plays, right? Like they're in positions that they have to, you know, make plays. So here, waiting for my Krug camp. Because we saw Blitz and Elise together, a notorious thing with supports is they like to roam with their jungler in situations like this when they start to lose. What happens? They abandon their lane. They abandon my boy, my Jhin boy. And that's a common thing, and you have to be a little cautious of that. Here, same thing I'm going to do. What did we do last time? Remember we talked about it. We just want to get on the Mordekaiser when he's on the tower, pull in the wave, and then just fight him, right? We get all that extra hit. Here, we can just kind of Q him down. I do have my next E coming up, so I don't actually have to do too much. Never mind. I actually do have to do so much. I should have flashed that Q. God damn, he's so tanky. I thought I had that. Maybe Jax can finish him off. He has no flash. I do think Jax kills. He just needs one more. Oh my god, Jax is not killing. Oh my god, he's a tank. I didn't even know he built tank. I respect it though. Maybe he can kill Elise. Oh my god, he didn't have W. So in this situation, we want to go into our Zhonya's. We want to get our Shadow Flame is going to give us huge damage, which is good. We do have a good amount of ability here, so we're going to have our ultimate coming up pretty quick. It's not really Doom's, but honestly, Mordekaiser ulti is just too broken, I suppose. You can see he had to flash to get out of range of that tower. That's a big thing that when we talked about that, it really does affect a lot about that game plan, stuff like that. Here, I'm not really going to go crazy on this guy unless I have like, you know, more damage like here. If I have Milo, if I have Varus around me, I feel more confident that if I go in there, it's not really a 1v3. I have more support. I have more potential damage. And I don't have to worry about, you know, maybe another person showing up there. Always think about the numbers of your team, right? Like your numbers of your team is the answer to all your problems. I don't trust my team, but I just force the numbers of it that even if they're bad, they'll still make sure to do a little bit. And they also give me the ability, you know, like it's not hard for Milo to just press shield on me. There isn't really that much expectation on their part. So I'm able to just get good value from it. So here we are power farming. We want to keep power farming. We want to power farm, play for objectives, and then just look for fights when it looks good for us. And a good fight would be something, it doesn't even necessarily have to be anything too crazy. Here you can actually just pull the Herald with them having vision of it. I really could come here, but looks like she's on wave. So what do you do there? You just Q it and let it charge at you. And with Diana, you can just get on top of it right after that. Here, I want to finish this and then maybe look for Krugs or play mid. So play mid, enemy team is missing. I don't like to go hard here because I do feel like there's just a lot of people around there. Too much mystery, right? And what I mean by the enemy team is missing, we look at the map and it doesn't look good for us. It really doesn't look that good for us. There could be, I could look for something with Jax, but Jax is not doing that good in this game. So I'm not going to do a risky play with Jax on Aurelia where they could have an extra person there when I could just play around me, Akshan, Varus, and Milo, right? Like think about your teammates who are doing well in the game. Play around that. I've seen too many people lose the game going topside to even like try to potentially like do something. I think I can win this now because I'm just much stronger. I'm not the same Diana that I once was in high school. Probably goes up. No, she goes this way. You want to wait for your E ability. Your E is going to give you a jump that you can use. You can also use it on jungle camps if you see any chance to jump on it. Because I have the blue plant, I could potentially just chase him down here. And Blitzcrank is a funny champion because he slows down over time. So here we talked about how do we use we use this. We use the minion, the jungle camp. We hit Q and then we E right after. So what that does is resets your E. So I have the second E and I extend my range. That's an important thing with, you know, Diana. You have to utilize that kind of power, that ability, which is really, just really important for your game. Here, I'm just going to finish my clearing. I'm going to go check the enemy jungle camps. It is a bit risky because my team is basing and I also have Zhonya soon. So I probably won't invade their camps. I do know there is camps up, but it's too risky because you can see their laners are already on wave. And to make it even worse, they're just like, they've died, but they're already all the way here, right? So there's just a lot of scary situations. Here I just want to ulti fast. Oh, I interrupted her Q. GG. And then I'm going to base and get my Zhonya's, right? So Aurelia obviously is probably the stronger person on their comm. And you can see the Mordekaiser fight was not even close. And it's not because I had Zhonya's or anything, right? That really didn't do anything. It wasn't close because I had Shadow Flame. When I fought him before, I was down like 2,000 gold, which is a huge thing because he was on one item. I was pretty much on one item. Protobell versus Riftmaker, it doesn't make a difference. But once I spend that gold on Shadow Flame, it's not even close, right? This is where a lot of your damage comes from when you play Diana. You want to go Shadow Flame second because it just gives you insane damage. This is for your AP build. I just know a lot of people are not the biggest fans of Protobell, so I do have good sort of viewpoints of the other stuff. But here, I do have Zhonya, so I can Zhonya's here. I can ride my Herald. The reason I dropped my Herald is because of this exact situation. I could just keep riding it and hit everyone. And then I could just lead the fight. Oh, I messed up. I should have stayed on Irelia and my ulti was going to kill her. Oh, why did I E again? I thought my team was closer there, so I was going to do some crazy stuff there. That was bad. I had that. The Shelly, I was drifting like Tokyo Drift right there. And here you want to go into like Def Cap if you're really ahead. Void Staff if the enemy team is building MR. Enemy team isn't building MR, but they have this champion and that one. That could potentially, you know, become very annoying for us. So we do want to go into like the magic resist right now. And from here you go into like Void, obviously because enemy team, this guy's going to have armor and MR. This one's going to have armor and MR. And this one is just naturally tanky. Otherwise, you can farm up and save up for Def Cap, which is going to give you insane damage. Dyna very strong right now. I do enjoy her a lot. She's my favorite champion to play right now. With the buffs, obviously, she's a bit overtuned, but the Shadow Flame AP build is really good if you want to do a lot of damage to just carry. But if you don't like the Protobell build, because for whatever reason, you can always go Shadow. You can always go into the Nashor's build, which is also pretty good. It really depends on the game, right? Like you might be in a situation where the enemy team is just really tanky. And that's sort of going to be a good reason for you to build into like more of the Bruiser Diana build. They could hook me here, so I have to watch out. And the reason why I have to watch out is because I don't have Zhonya's yet. So I'm going to just play a little slow. And wait a bit. Now it looks more safe. I do want to find Irelia up here. I feel like she might be here. But I'm just taking it slow. It could hook me here, so I have to be a little careful. I'm just waiting for the TP to come in. I don't want to get ultied by him. I have Zhonya's again, so I just Zhonya's here. Wait for the comboing. Go on the Jhin afterwards. Boom. That's all she wrote. Very important to play for the ulti in those situations. Like, they're going to want to go on you. Just be ready with your ultimate to do as much power and damage as possible. But I hope you guys like the video. It's my Diana jungle video. And yeah, she's really OP right now. That's the AP build that I really like. And I hope you guys enjoy the video.